racing. You wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaw.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
The headline will always read, Acosta wins in a landslide. But that was only round 2, and with 8 races still left on the calendar, it means very little tonight. Coming at you live for round 3 of the Precision Racing League Formula 3 Series here on GSRC and the iRacing Esports Network. In the booth with me this evening is my little brother Johnny over there in his little red chair, and over there in the big chair, well, that's Joe Pete. Twisting and tweaking the dials for us this evening. He is our master of ceremonies. The genius behind these cameras that you'll see tonight, that's the great Dougie Beard. You can't have him, we do. Listen, John, Bowmanville, Ontario, we're just north of the border. It's funny, we were in Brazil last week, and we've come all the way up to Canada, and we stopped at Tim Hortons, we got some coffee, and maybe a tray of poutine or two. John, what do you think about Motorsport? One of my favorites, certainly, to race on and to spectate at. How do you feel about it?
You know, this is a wonderful track, Sean. But you know, I think my chair is more magenta, maybe fuchsia, but not red. Oh, there's a sale at Penny's too. Yeah, so here we are, Motorsport. This track, oh, it's got drainage bumps, it's got ditches. It's got old asphalt, but we have Kevin Santana here, so he can get that asphalt fixed for us. This track, 2.459 miles, almost 4 kilometers, 10 turns. This race is going to be 45 minutes. For this track, Sean, we also have this new tire model change that came out this afternoon. So these drivers are going to have to adjust to this high temperature and this new V7 tire model. But to take a look at this track firsthand, let's jump aboard our GSRC car and take a lap around here.
All right, we've got John Ambrose in the GSRC Formula 3, so let's do a lap around Motorsport. Turn 1 is simple in these cars. Keep your foot in it. Stay flat out, don't take too much exit curb, and then get back across to the right for Clayton. If you have the guts, there's no brakes needed, only a lift over this blind double apexer. Just know if it goes wrong, it's likely to do so in a big way. Once again, you've got to switch sides, and finally you'll apply some brakes for Quebec, but not a lot. As you can imagine, passing is likely to be difficult here. Do your best to get a good run off of this long right-hander, because now, as we fly through 4, you're coming up to the braking for Moss Hairpin. Overtakes can be possible, but the compression at the bottom of the hill makes it a very short braking zone. It's much better to focus on getting a good exit because of the long run up the Andretti Straight. Not only is it quite a climb uphill, but these cars give off a pretty big slipstream, making everyone vulnerable to attack. The majority of pass attempts will probably happen or start here. However, if you're side by side by the time you come to the S's, it's going to be a game of chicken. This is yet another corner where all you need is a lift going in, but drivers on the outside can sometimes hang on and have the inside for turn 9 where you'll finally be braking. Each successive corner tightens up until eventually you come to whites. Beware of the inside curb, carry your momentum, and hopefully you've now finished a lap around Mosport.
Race fans, it takes just over a minute to get around Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and that's the way you do it in the GSRC F3. Ready to compete against financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance. And John, performance this evening, or this season so far, 2 rounds under the belt for these drivers, and Abner Acosta has found his way at the top, and not just found his way, but really propelled himself to the top. With that big win going away last week, I think he won by about 20 seconds over the rest of the field. It sends everybody tumbling backwards. And of course, David Holland wasn't here last week. He was the previous points leader with just out of the first round. Jefferson Padovani still sits there in second, now tied with Daniel Zegers. Michael Overbay has come up 12 spots. He had a great race last week. And Kyle Strykars sits there in 5th. But really, John, what we're talking about is domination from the Alpine Stars Geodesic Racing team. Why don't you take a look at the points with us now?
Yeah, so you mentioned, keep in mind we're only this is only our 3rd race, but so far we've got Vantage Esports Yellow in the lead. David Holland, Rod Kennard, and Kevin Santana. Alpine's Geodesic Racing in 2nd, behind Vantage Esports by 6 points. We have SRT Esports Blue in 3rd, just 9 points out of 2nd, and then Ford Bite Racing having a great finish, up a spot last week in 4th. Blown Tranny Racing in 5th. They lost 2 spots, but we'll see what tonight brings, Sean, with this change and, well, with all the drivers back here on the field.
You know what? I kind of threw you under the bus there, John. I'm supposed to do the team points. You're supposed to do the details, but that doesn't matter because I've got the details. I can confirm there are people watching for the first time that have no idea what they're watching. Welcome to iRacing. This is the Dallara F3. You've arrived here at round 3 here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And the setups on these race cars are open. What does that mean? Well, that means the drivers and or their crew chiefs and or the teams get to work on these, dial these cars in, everything from spring rate to wing angle, you name it, tire pressures. But it is a 45-minute race. As John mentioned, it's going to take 1 pit stop to get it done. Why? Because we've limited the amount of fuel they have in the tank. Incident cap, 20. What does that mean? Well, if they get into trouble on the track, they make any contact with a fellow driver off the track, into a wall, what have you, they are counted against. Points are taken off your race for that. You reach 20. You've been disqualified. It happened just last week. A couple drivers fell victim to the disqualification. So one important thing to know about what they do with the points here, they have 3 opportunities to pick up bonus points within a given race: fastest lap, pole position, or if they have 3 incidents or less. This track here in Canada, John, honestly, they could probably get this in with very, very low amount of incidents. This track has really nice flow to it, but also has some trouble spots. And one thing we do want to remind everyone is if you're watching us now on YouTube, then, well, you're watching us on the iRacing Esports Network. And we welcome you aboard. If you haven't made a subscription to them, do it now. Be part of this great experience here on the iRacing Esports Network, where GSRC and several other broadcasters bring you some of these great racers from all over the world every day of the week. John, as I mentioned, this track has a lot of great flow to it, and we've got some drivers really shining brightly here a couple of rounds into the season. Where do you think it really happens on this track tonight? We're going to see a lot of passing at.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of passing coming out of the Moss corners, getting up that uphill to Andretti straightaway. I think that's the most strip seam these cars are going to see throughout the night, and so I expect they're probably going to look to the inside of the high-speed right-hander there, the start of the S's, to make something happen. Possibly, you may see if the car's hooking up really good through the carousel of Quebec, they'll get a good run out of there in the downhill into the Moss section. So probably those two spots are going to be your ideal spots for passing. You don't want to pass in turn 1. You don't want to pass in turn 2. It's just not going to happen. So it's going to be exciting.
Now, Nathan Lewis got the pole last week. He's fastest right now in qualifying. John, he's got the provisional pole, had it. Michael Overbay just went to the pole, but I want to go back to Lewis, the New Yorker, new to the scene, had trouble pretty much from the start of the race, but did start on the pole. I wonder, will we see anything out of him tonight? Again, awful fast here in qualifying, was top 5 in practice, lots of laps in. How do you like his chances?
You know, I think everyone's on an even playing field tonight, and I say that sparingly because I know, teams have worked 4 or 5 hours before this race because of this new change that came out early this morning. So, someone like Nathan Lewis who can, and there he goes to the top again. Someone like Lewis who has the experience and the higher I rating, I would expect to kind of do pretty good this evening. But let's not keep out. Let's keep in mind of the original drivers, Overbay and Holland. Raymond Day had a great showing last week. Unfortunately, he was victim to a pit stop error, and that cost him the win.
And John, there's Raymond on screen. What can you tell us about what was changed about this tire model? The F3 already had a new tire.
Here,
All right, sorry for the technical difficulty. It appears we're having a little challenge here. Everything's worked itself out. We were talking about that new tire model, John, and apparently, well, even the iRacing gods didn't want us to get that information out. So let's go to the qualifying, actually. We got to talk about that because there's really only 2 minutes left here before we get racing. Nathan Lewis, as we said, had taken the top back from Michael Overbay. But let's look at some other drivers in the top 10 right now. It's really all the big hitters. I'm not seeing any big surprises. Nick Delp sitting back there in 7th, but we know he's fast. Acosta's in there. Francisco Montini is there. Zegers rounds out the top 10. Anybody outside the top 10 that kind of surprises you right now?
No. I mean, look, this Kenneth Rodriguez guy. He's fairly new. He's making a good impression here, coming in 15th right now. And let's not forget, hey, the Canadian, well, the guy who lives here, old Lyndon Swaby, Pegleg himself, sitting there in 8th position.
All right, did we get Pegleg approved yet? Is that?
We did. It is, yeah, it's through customs and has come through.
Well, glad they got that delivered in time for tonight's race anyway. So, you know, we talked about the track and it being kind of hot out there, John. It's still 106 degrees on track. It's a partly cloudy day, only about 75 degrees, but second time today on the Global SimRacing Channel, we've seen warm temperatures. Certainly we saw warmer temperatures earlier today. I believe we saw 142 degrees we were talking about in the pre-race, but still hot here at 106, and with the unpredictability and the mystery surrounding this new tire model update from this morning, could make this a very interesting race, especially in the first couple of laps, John. We've got, what have we got, 35, 36 cars tonight.
Yeah, we got, I saw Takeshi Kita in practice, but I'm not seeing him on the, no, I take that back. He's in 20th right now.
Ah, the Samurai is here. Things are always more fun when the Samurai is in the house, so glad to see him taking a swing at it. I did see him in practice earlier, and I believe I saw him make a comment on social media, so it was nice to know he was going to be here. Acosta sitting in 6th right now. I think he's called it a day pretty much for qualifying, and only 5 seconds left. Cars coming across the line now. This is Brett Thurman. He'll come across at the checkers. And he does not improve on that lap, John.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now is where it's going to stand. You know, it's going to be interesting this start. We saw the first 2 races. The starts have been a crux for this car and these drivers with issues in the back of the pack. So hopefully we don't have that today.
Steffi wide out of whites. He blows it. Here comes Andy Spicer. That's a quick one for him. Wow, only misses his fastest lap by 5/1000ths of a second. Here comes Aaron Webb. Under the Michelin Bridge, and that is good enough. Francisco Montini just took the pole there, John, at the end, and did it with a fastest lap of a 109.591.
Yeah, nice lap by Montini.
Surprise! I think that's everybody on track, John. I don't think there's anybody else left out there. We got a deep field. Why don't we go ahead and head on to the grid? And tonight, starting in the front row, Francisco Montini and Nathan Lewis. Row 2, Michael Overbay with a P3 start and David Holland at his flank. Row 3, Kevin Santana, Raymond Day starting 6th tonight in number 77. Row 4 going to be Abner Acosta. Nick Delp will start 8th. Rounding out row 5, it's going to be Lyndon Swaby in 9th at number 100, and Daniel Zegers will start 10th tonight, John.
Row 6, Kyle Stretchars. Outside of him is Andres Espinoza. Row 7, Armando Edwards and Sebastian Masira. Starting on the outside of him. In row 8, Kenneth Rodriguez and Jonathan Brault in 16th. In row 9, Brett Thurman, Aaron Webb in 18th. Row 10, Andy Spicer starting 19th, and Lionel Duprat starting 20th.
And Takeshi gets bounced right there at the end, John. He'll start 21st tonight, right next to Sean Duhamel in 22nd. Row 12, Christopher Richards and Owen McLaughlin. Row 13, David Hebert and Jay Steffi. Row 14, going to be Matt Gunderson and Hugo Galaz in the number 555, Delara. Row 15, Charles Sumner hops out of his truck into the F3. He'll start 29th. Tigor, 30th. And John, I'll run through the rest of these real quick. Donald Olson, 31st. 32nd to David Blackwood. Daniel Barnett will start 33rd. Lucio Vargas will start 34th. We're ready for him on the grid. And Matthew Hall, the New Yorker, will start dead last tonight in 35th. I'm excited. I always get excited at the start of these things. Really excited here in Canada. This is going to be a great race this evening. Temperatures dip down just a couple of degrees.
Sean, look real quick at rows 13 back. They're starting on the corner of the whites there, coming on the front straightaway. That's going to be a difficult start.
Yeah, tires spinning, hot track. Ooh, boy, that is going to be pretty dicey. But, John, everybody is gridding up. I think we've got them all on the grid. Now we're still waiting on Lyndon. Lyndon taking his time, checking the belts,
Putting that peg leg on, getting on the gas pedal, bolted in.
I'd like to see that that setup, John. I'll have to talk to you about that. Here we go. Engines up. Lights are up. Here in Canada. Here we go. We're mean green and underway here in the Premier Racing League Formula 3 Series. Francisco Montini down the hill, off their great start. Overbay, Lewis and Holland, all at his backside.
Oh, big wreck there in one. Huge wreck. We'll have to come back to that.
Yeah, Spicer was involved in that. Several drivers. Like you talked about, John, those were drivers having to start in whites. Get caught up in that, but man, they don't waste any trouble going line to stern. Back to 10th is really where the gaggle of cars is. Zegers, Delt, Strykars, Edwards, all in a gaggle there, but starting to sort it out down in the Moss.
Yeah, these cars right now, Sean, with this new tire model, are going to take about three and a half laps to get up to a comfortable feel for these guys. So single file is going to be the way to go.
And up Andretti. I can talk now. Here goes the run, side by side. All of a sudden, what was line of stern, they're all looking for position here, down in the whites.
This lap will be this lap will be the telltale here, Sean, whether or not these drivers are going to hold back for a couple more laps to let the tires heat up, or are they going to go for it?
Well, Lewis is giving a gearbox inspection to Montini right now as they head down the hill in the Moss. My bad, that was not, I said Moss. Got lost on the track there, John.
Got lost in the Moss?
I got lost in the Moss. Montini, though, again, still trying to hold off Nathan Lewis. Now they're in Moss. And let's see if the slipstream is going to really be a thing here up the Andretti Straight. I mean, obviously, Nathan doesn't have to be in a hurry here.
No, he doesn't. And, you know, we saw him fast every round. He's just got to be careful.
Oh, he makes a move to the inside.
Oh, and they touch.
Oh. Contact. Montini all the way off. Oh, and a hard shunt. And that Zegers that goes with him, or is that Edwards? Or maybe
Overbay.
Oh, it was Overbay. Overbay gets taken out in that. And that may wind up with the stewards when it's all said and done with. Wow, what a hard hit.
Watch these Vantage guys, Sean. David Holland took advantage of that fighting there in the whites. He's up to second. Santana is in third. Ray Day's in fifth, and Swaby is in sixth. These guys are having an excellent run here.
Well, it was pretty fortuitous there, that incident. Unfortunate indeed, though. Contact in the S's and the problems erupt, and it's Raymond Day. Day with trouble, John.
Oh, car looks like it just unbound there in the Moss on that crest.
I don't know how hard the contact was. Back up front, Holland is now the driver chasing Nathan Lewis. Nathan Lewis, the Alpine Geodesic driver. Holland close now. He's got him reeled in at about 0.3 of a second.
Watch Holland in turn 3. This is where Holland's been strong all evening.
You get a big look at practice, and Holland seemed to be handling this new tire model pretty well, huh, John?
Yeah, he's him and the team have really worked hard this afternoon, getting comfortable and making changes towards this model.
Ooh, he pulls right up on him there. It's a great trip in the Moss.
Yeah, David's got the room now to get that slipstream up this hill, going into 8 and the high-speed S's here. Let's see if he can do it. He looks to the inside. He's blocked. He has to go to the outside, Sean. He's going to do the crossover. Look for the crossover here.
No, I think he's going to play it safe on that one, John. Santana and Acosta pretty much doing the same thing right behind him.
Yeah,
And then it's the rest of the field. Yeah.
Acosta, unfortunately, he's gone off on turn 10 every lap. So that right there is 3 incident points. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, he said they only have 20 to work with. Acosta, though, picking up 3 positions early after we lost those 2 drivers. Of course, I'm talking about Michael Overbay and Francisco Montini.
Let's go back here, Sean, to 5th, 6th, and 7th. Swaby, Delp, Zagers. Man, they are neck to stern here.
Yeah,
battling, going
Zagers
to go back.
Oh! Look at Zagers make that move.
What a power move by Zagers.
Did that to a teammate. Did that to a teammate. Took his inside there and said, I'm not giving it back to you, buddy. I got to go catch Lyndon Swaby here. Swaby's getting away from him. He's dropped them about 0.7 of a second. We got to go back to the lead because Nathan Lewis and Holland really are still in a really a big white knuckle battle. They come across the line. It's still Lewis, but it's only by just under 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, again, let's watch turn 3 here. Coming down the hill here on 2. This is Clayton Corner off camber. High speed left-hander. Let's see if David can gain in here on 3. He's got a strong exit. Let's see what he does through Quebec and down into Moss. Right there on the gearbox. Oh, what a good run he's got here.
Right on him now. This is slipstream territory on board with David Holland.
We saw Lewis be defensive and blocked from the inside from Holland.
David lifts, John. He's lifting. That's fine. He's putting a lot of pressure on him right now. That can only make Nathan Lewis nervous. Or at least you would think it would. Lewis sliding that car out of the S's. All right, let's look at this replay on the start, John. Take a look at what happened here. This was the incident involving Spicer. Remember, they started out of whites back in the field. It was really down to turn 1 where the trouble starts. A little bit of contact there from the middle. It gets 3 cars up, and away. That was Spicer and Duprat.
Wow.
Sebastian Maciera, I think, was part of that too. Take a look from the chopper.
Keep in mind, starting that far back, they have more speed going into 1 than the leaders up front because they have a shorter distance. The guys in the back have a longer distance. So I think it was just a matter of not judging that corner speed on new tires too well as he drifts up and hits them.
But all 3 get wrapped up in it, and everybody else gets away. Barely.
And hey, real quick, Sean, back at the lead, Holland took it over.
Man, he sure did. I'm trying to see here where that happened. Holland did it coming up the Andretti, John. That next time around, we went to the break, or I went to the replay, and back around the track, he had another great run out of Moss, gets him on the Andretti straight, holds the position through the S's, out of whites, and Holland is now your leader, and he's your leader by about 0.5 second. Nathan Lewis has backed off just a bit.
Yeah, this is where David shines. This car.
Here's the replay, John. The pass.
All right, he's coming up the Andretti straight here. It looks like Lewis, well, I think Lewis may have backed off and says, you know what, you're faster, let me follow.
Maybe a little caution, maybe saving a little fuel, possibly. But, you know, I'm coming to know David a little bit now. I don't know if clear track is really what you want to give the guy. Because that really seems where he excels, John, is with the clean air. Not having to fight with anybody. He does well in a fight, but he does really well at the front.
Yeah, this setup really likes clean air. And you know, I think we're going to see David just progressively pull 2-3 tenths a lap on these guys here.
What do you say we take a look at this Montini incident on the start here, John? He got in trouble, ended his race.
I think this was coming up to the S's, Sean.
It was, and they were battling. They were battling with the lead, him and Lewis. There's Lewis to the inside. You're going to see the contact here in the S's. It's going to send Montini off, and the grass is going to come straight across the track. Gets plowed into by Overbay, and that sends both of them into the pits. We'll go on board with Michael Overbay. Overbay kind of lucky where it happened. He was able to get straight in. Here we go. This will be Mike's view. Really nothing he can do here. You see Montini come straight back across the track right in front of him. Just knocks the front end off it. Hard shot. Yep. And again, fortunate to be right there at the pit entrance. He didn't have to tow that car around or fight it all the way back. But unfortunately, John, he's not been able to get out of the pits. That car's done.
Yeah, what a tough break for Michael. Had a great run last week.
Yeah.
The first race had a tough race. So these odd number races are really taking a toll on Overbay.
David Hebert, was that Hebert just got a spot there? Indeed, Hebert trying to charge up to this race. Day, after a little bit of trouble, John finds himself back in a battle here finally.
Yeah, Dave's got a fast car. He just had an unfortunate incident there in the moss of that crest turn in the braking zone. Gotta be careful though coming down this corner. Luckily he gets on the inside here. Gotta be careful racing side by side because that affects your braking zone.
Tim McLaughlin.
Oh, he had to back off.
Yeah, he did. Here they go, side by side though, up the Andretti straight, John. Day just got an awesome jump out of that exit. It's going to be enough though.
Yeah, I think McLaughlin, he did a good thing there. He pulled over and let Day go.
Hebert is going to get by McLaughlin, also going to clear him in the S's. McLaughlin, honestly, John, a little bit all over the place right now. Sumner probably do well to get past him as quick as he can here.
We got a car off in Quebec there. I don't know who it was.
Is that Matt Hall or is... Oh, Hall's off.
There's a 35 car there.
Yeah, Matthew Hall. Here we go, John. We got it on the replay here. The New York driver had some trouble all by himself. Caught the grass, John, there just a little bit, swung it out maybe a little wide. Harmless, though, he comes back right in the middle of a fight. Finds himself surrounded by Sean Duhamel, David Blackwood. Or no, I'm sorry, that's lap traffic all getting by. That's where he is position-wise on track. But Hall in big trouble here when we come out of the replay. He's got everybody passing him now. All these drivers caught up to him and lapping him. They got it clear up the Andretti straight. Started out of Moss, and they do clear him before they get through the S's.
That's a that's a battle.
Man, he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time all the way around there.
Speaking of battle, look at P7 right now. Lyndon Swaby, Kyle Streichars. Streichars is caught up. Ooh, he gets loose in the braking zone. He's on the back of Swaby right now.
And they've got a great battle in front of them with Delp and Edwards also. So really a four-car tango here coming up the Andretti straight. On board with Kyle, he's going to look to that move to the inside.
Yeah, Swaby pulls over to the side there and lets him by. Probably a good move. Let him go up there and battle those other two.
He'd be like, basically, he'd be Bandit 1.
He'd be Bandit 1, yes.
Okay.
And remember, if they go over to 19, 19 is really 21.
Yeah, but, you know, they've got them CB radios now. We got to be careful. All right, looking at Nick Delp. Somebody will get that, John. Trust me. I talked about this battle here. Delp not playing around. He's got Edwards in front of him, but he's got a very busy Kyle Streichhardt behind him. Delp has picked up a couple spots in this race and has really, really run well. With only 30 minutes left, I think we're getting pretty close, John, to that pit window. And here's the move. Maybe not. He backs off.
Yeah, Delp doesn't look like he needs help. He's coming up through the field nicely. Speaking of which, the guy in front of him, Edwards, he's up 8 spots.
Yeah,
Sean.
when did that happen?
8 spots.
When did that happen? We kind of overlooked that, didn't we? Armando really on it here in Canada. I think he's our only New Jersey driver in the field, too. So we got New Yorkers and New Jerseyans, I believe they are. God, I hope I'm right about that. I would get so killed if I'm not.
Real quick out front, David Holland has a 1.4 second lead over Nathan Lewis with Kevin Santana. Santana having a great evening tonight in 3rd spot.
Yep, indeed. Done it quietly. Really just stayed out of trouble. Avoided that fight in front of him that ended the race for Overbay in Montini.
Well, you say quietly. We all know Kevin. He's not quiet. But
I know he's not quiet.
He is an asphalt technician, and he understands this asphalt here in Canada.
I imagine him riding around like in front seat of his car like a fishing tackle box with test tubes and beakers in it and stuff like that. And he just shows up and starts chipping away at asphalt. Maybe even does the taste test on it as well, kind of the Yukon Cornelius style.
I was going to say, are we talking a Bass Rudolph production here back in the 70s?
Yes, possibly so. Possibly so.
I want to be a dentist.
John, actually we've still got some great battles locked down throughout the field. Aaron Webb still holding off Chris Richards back there. That's for P10. Richards is up 12 spots in this race. A little bit farther behind him, where you've got Gunderson, who's come up all the way through the field. He's come up 15 spots tonight. But the battle I'm watching back for P13, Thurman, Galaz, and Zegers. Now that's where Zegers has fallen to after some trouble he got into. But John, none of those cars look to be giving up anytime soon. They all look pretty clean. I think they got caught behind some stuff and are just kind of battling through it at the moment. But they're not far from catching Gunderson up the road.
Yeah, so you mentioned pit stops earlier, Sean. Let's talk about that for a second. This track, like some others, this has a difficult pit lane exit. It exits right onto the turn 2 Clayton corner, which is a high-speed left-hander, off-camber. I mean, these cars are pushing and hitting the max.
Sorry, there we got a car around. It was Abner Acosta in the middle of the track there, John, coming out of White's.
Well, we talked about that. Abner Acosta kept getting his tires off that out of the whites there, and it looks like it caught up to him.
It really didn't. Look where it happened. There was Edwards, Delp, and Streichhardt all right there. Wow. Swaby will get through also. Here's Acosta on board with him, coming through the S's, down in the whites. And John, like you said, he'd been running it out there all the way over the rumble strips and into the dirt. And there you go. Car just comes around. Great job of getting on the binders. He's really lucky he didn't get clobbered from behind, though, by all those guys coming through.
Yeah, what's even more amazing, he's still in 8th position.
Yeah. And there we go. Galaz getting passed by Raymond Day, who is on a bit of a recovery job there. The recovery drive there, John. Galaz makes a mistake, actually. Here's the replay. Oh, yeah, Galaz, big trouble down in the moss. Locks him up. He got lucky there, John. That could have been much worse.
He got lucky, but, this car is very sensitive to the undercarriage. And you saw how that undercarriage scraped across that rumble strip, and I can assure you it did not help that car.
I'm going to go with you. Probably did not. They're still battling up front here. Edwards, Delp, and Streichhardt. Remember, they got just narrowly avoided Clobber and Ebner Costa, who spins coming out of whites up to the start-finish line.
You know, I said magenta earlier. Does that look like magenta or is that pink?
I'm going to go with magenta. I think that is a shade of magenta, or is magenta a shade to begin with? For the pass.
Oh, look at there on the side.
No, not today. Armando Edwards wags the finger at him. They all get out of whites. Kyle ran it really far out there, John.
Oh, you can't do this. You can't do this.
Not advised.
Okay, this one won't work. This can't work. Yeah.
Oh, Kyle.
Chars.
Yeah, he almost ran over Nick Delp there. Had to get on the binder. Well, I hope he didn't get on the binders too much, but he certainly had to get out of the throttle.
Just so the people watching know, right now David Holland has, he has quite a hefty lead out front. Nathan Lewis in second. Kevin Santana still sitting there in third position behind, or in front of Edwards, Delp, and Strychars there.
I think it goes back to what you said. I think Nathan knew he was faster than Holland and rather try and get in a wreck. Oh no, Gunderson's had trouble, John. Gunderson's had trouble. He was in that battle with Day and Zegers and Galaz, and now something's happened to Matt Gunderson.
Yeah, he got that crest just like we've seen from the other three drivers. Just a tough corner to downshift, brake, and turn at the same time.
Yeah. Here it is, on board from here. Over the hill, under the bridge.
To Grandma's house we go. Here we go, Sean.
Too predictable on that one. Into the sand, off to the beach, and around he goes. Everybody gets by. Luckily, Gunderson didn't hit anything, so he still holds on to P19 and lives to fight another day.
Funderson Gunderson.
Actually, you know, he's got a chance here. I mean, McLaughlin's under a second ahead of him.
Hey, let's go to this. Oh, no, Day. I was about ready to say, let's go to Raymond Day, and he makes a mistake in the same spot.
Oh, boy. And now we're getting to the point where Moss is starting to eat him up, John. That's the fourth driver we've seen have significant trouble down there.
What a accurate name for a corner. Moss.
And funny, the track temps actually come down a little bit since we started. So certainly more clouds over the track here at the moment. Ambient temperature still about 75. Kenny Rodriguez is in the pit lane. He'll be the first of our leaders. He's taken on tires, John.
Yeah, you know what? It's not a bad call to take on tires if you're looking to make up some ground. They will give you, almost a good second if you're mid-pack back. But these guys out front, they're still running a 110 flat, Sean. A 110 flat. Oh, no, and Raymond Day is off again in Quebec.
Snake bit now, John. That's it. That's all I can say about it. Poor Raymond. Absolutely snake bit tonight. Can't find a break.
I want to give a shout out here to Santana. He's running by himself right now. He's got the track to himself, but what a great night of execution. Running a good, clean race.
Yeah, and we're still waiting for all those drivers, John, to come in for a stop. Right now, you've got Holland, Lewis, Santana, your top three. Armando Edwards stuck out there in no man's land. And then you get the big battle between Strychars, Swaby, and Acosta still going on. Delp came in for a pit stop. And actually, Acosta now gets into that battle. It was Delp that was in that battle with them until he went into the pit. So Delp, really the leader of that group we've been following to come in and take a pit stop.
Guess who just turned the fastest lap of this race?
Oh, jumps off. Stay out of the barrier. Just barely does.
Holland's in the pit. Our leader's in the pit lane right now.
Yes, he is. And it looks like Santana's going to follow. Lewis stayed out.
This should be fuel only for David.
David gets it in, stops quick.
Oh no, Santana took tires. Hopefully that's what he planned on doing, although it's probably not a good call.
Holland gets way out in front of him, John. Almost, it's good. The clock's going to adjust, but it's over 5 seconds already spread between himself and Santana. In fact, Christopher Richards gets in between, but hasn't taken a pit stop yet. Well, it'll be really interesting to see what Nathan Lewis, Armando Edwards, Lyndon Swaby now up to third, John. By nature of staying out, he finds himself in P3. Lewis is in.
Let's see if Lewis takes fuel only or tires. If he's going to catch Holland, he's got to take fuel only. Kind of looks like me struggling to find his pit stall here.
Edwards makes his way in. Lewis gets it in the box. Here comes David Holland out of whites down the front stretch under the Michelin bridge. Lewis coming out of the pit lane. Holland's going to have him right there. To the right. Holland to the left. Down inside. Lewis all up under his wing. Oh, baby, this is going to be exciting. Side by side, Johnny.
Wow. What we talked about pit lane exit, but boy, that works for you.
Hey, you know what? 3 rounds, and it seems like we've talked about that at all 3 tracks that we've been at so far, John. And boy, it never came into play like it did tonight. David Holland hangs on to the lead over Nathan Lewis, but it's not by much. 0.3 of a second. Up the end, trading straight away.
Let's wow, look at the pit comparison, Sean, with Holland and Lewis. Lewis made up some ground there, whether it was the delta from pit entrance to pit exit, where it appears to be.
The delta practically identical. Yeah, man, look at that. Wow. It's about as close as it gets. We're talking fractions of a second, folks.
Holland must have had a bad outlap. He must have been marred behind a slower car or something.
Must have, yeah. Espinoza back here fighting with Aaron Webb, John. These are 2 drivers that had pitted. Espinoza pitted 19 laps ago. He was involved in trouble there, I guess, early. But finally, Swaby able to get by. And he got by Webb.
Remember, Santana took tires. Actually, Sean, he's recovered his 3rd place position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has. And he's still 5+ seconds behind our leaders. But, John, they're fighting pretty intensely. This could be Kevin Santana's race after all. It's going to be up to the leaders. They've got to behave for about 15 more laps.
Well, we've seen David Holland in traffic and what he does. We haven't seen Nathan Lewis in this series, in this car, in what he does. Hopefully, we'll see good clean racing as we're seeing right now.
Santana with the fastest lap. John, that'll tell you something about those tires right now. You mentioned David Lewis. I played football with him way back when. He's a good guy.
Yes. David Squire, David Lewis. I remember.
The 2 Daves. Espinoza back in the pit. As we predicted, he would probably come in.
Man, Lewis is all over the back of Holland's gearbox right now.
It's getting me nervous. I so don't want this race to end in something unfortunate like we saw there at the start. But Kevin Santana really right now just got to continue to lay on it, continue to set the fastest laps of the race. He might be looking at a chance at victory.
We're looking at New York versus Texas right now.
Doesn't get much better than that, John. Kind of like a
Oh.
Giants-Cowboys game.
Speaking of Texas, howdy, folks, to all you Texas State Fair lovers.
Man, and Lewis rides right up him again, John, and backs off just a little bit as it gets to the crest of the hill. A lot of rubber down in this section of the track. Temperature creeps back up just a little bit as the clouds start to part some.
Well, it's almost 4 p.m. in virtual time here in Canada.
It's a beautiful fall day, eh? I had to. Sorry. Oh, I did it once in the intro, too, so I guess I've extended my A's for the race, or I've used them up. Hopefully Nathan Lewis hasn't used up anything in this car. I'm just sharing the same observation as the directors who watch him go through the S's. This is starting to maybe look a little bit more like a drifting competition, John. They are really sliding around back there.
Yeah, but you know what? They're both doing a great job of keeping it on the track and keeping both of them on the track without beating and banging. But you know, Kevin Santana's loving this, Sean. He's back there more than third. He's like, you know what? I have new tires. I got the racetrack to myself.
Here's a lap comparison between Lewis and Santana. John, the numbers don't lie. Santana really seems to have pace right now. It'll really be about consistency over these last 11 laps or so.
We haven't talked about our man, Takeshi Kita. How's he doing, Sean?
Let's get the Samurai update. He's in 18th, John. He has cracked inside the top 20. Not far from McLaughlin, only about 3/4 of a second. He's certainly got him in the windscreen. Wait a second, there's not a windscreen. Okay.
There's not a windscreen, and I just realized there's no glitter pants tonight.
There isn't. We've not talked about him. Oh, trouble in front of Kita. Who is that? That was Matthew Hall, who was off the track right in front as Kita was coming through. Oh, and in more trouble behind him, Nathan Lewis off the track. Nathan Lewis is off. Oh no! He comes back on track right in front of that was Jace Steffi.
Let's take a look here, see what happened to Lewis. He gets his left front or right front up on that curb and drifts out wide. And then watch this, Sean, when he recovers, he gets stuck high center on that rumble strip.
Yeah, it looked like he caught a bit of the grass, but yeah, he gets caught up on that rumble strip, and then as he tries to come off, tire spinning, it shoots him out in the middle of the track, right in front of Steffi. Wow, he gets away with one there, John.
Did you see Holland? He had his left rear off on the Quebec corner. Wow.
Pushing the limits of these cars, John, late in this race. Holland pushing nothing anymore, though. He's 5 seconds to the good now after all that. And that great fight we were watching is now over.
Yeah, but not the one between Delp and Edwards. Man, these two have been going at it all night long.
The whole race. The pit stops were the only thing that separated them. They're separated by 2 laps in pit strategy, John. And it was Edwards with the better pit stop. But Delp has found his way up to him again. And this really may be the battle to watch for the rest of this race. We'll keep you close to all the other action, folks, but they're coming up on heavy traffic right now.
Christopher Richards just went off the track there.
Santana's lost some more time on track, John. In fact, he's almost 10 seconds behind Holland now.
I'm looking back here and see if, well, it must have been a lap prior.
Yeah, I'm not picking it up myself either. I did see a car spinning on track. I think it was Jay Steffi. I wonder if he slowed up to avoid hitting Steffi at some point. That might have been it, but that was a bit ago.
Well, it could also be his teammate, Lyndon Swaby. I mean, we do know that Lyndon carries chicken in his car, so
That's
maybe
right.
Santana was
He's got
hungry,
chicken.
and yeah, he's got chicken.
All right, let's go back to the battle between Delp and Edwards, because that traffic I talked about,
Delp
they found
got
him. Delp did get him, but they still have to battle through this traffic, John.
And look at Abner Acosta. He's, wow, he's coming up through the field. Good recovery for him. Oh, here comes Edwards.
This is the same Abner Acosta we're talking about that spun coming out of White's just a half a dozen laps ago, right in the middle of the track. Still likes to swing it out wide. Sean Duhamel has pulled over, let everybody get by. Oh, Matthew Hall ran really wide off the track into the tire barrier. His race is done.
Yeah, Matthew has not had a good evening today. Just a tough for him all around.
Here's the replay of that.
Looks like it's going to be over here at Clayton. Yeah. You get off there, Sean, you might as well just hit the escape key and let the car come to a stop.
Yeah. Bad things happen to good people there, unfortunately. Well, back into the S's. Nick Delp still holds the advantage over Edwards. In fact, he's opened it up now over 8/10 of a second. The top three continue to speed away. All that ground that Nathan Lewis was making up, well, he's made up on Kevin Santana now, who had his trouble, John. Nathan Lewis may not be finished with trying to get back to where he started in this race on P2. Only 2.1 seconds behind Santana now.
Yeah, what a recovery run for Lewis. I mean, look, Abner Acosta, Lewis, they've had a difficult evening, but both have recovered quite well, Sean.
You know, Ken Rodriguez back battling his teammate. That's for 9th. Brett Thurman in his mirror. A little bit further back to Ziggers.
We got Swaby coming up on a slow car here, going through the S's. Swaby having a good run this evening. Behind him, Aaron Webb up 10 spots from 18th. He's currently 8th. What a great night for him. We haven't talked about Aaron tonight.
No, we hadn't. And I think it's because he just stayed out of trouble, minded his own business tonight, John. A little bit to be said for that here in these races. Keep yourself out of trouble. And I think we got about 6 laps to go. Closing minutes of the race, just over 6. Some of these battles that went away are now back. Day has got Andres Espinosa in his mirror. Both of those drivers trying to come back forward after trouble. Keita's up to P17 now, John. He's got Hugo Galaz in front of him. Kyle Strykar's just past Gunderson. Gunderson, someone back behind Gunderson. Who was that had trouble? I think that's the badly damaged car at David Blackwood. Sorry, David, didn't want to pick on you there, buddy. David's missing the rear end of his car right now, John.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, that car is on sale. Only 17 laps on it. You too can buy it. Check eBay.
right. And we get down to around the 5-minute mark, and here's the pass. Brett Thurman going for Kenny Rodriguez. Thurman's going to get it, John. That was in the S's. Coming out of Andretti, coming up the hill. Thurman finds the time to make a big move.
Zegers, boy, taking it wide there out of white.
Yeah, Zegers has really got Rodriguez in his sights. Oh, something's happened to Armando Edwards. Lyndon Swaby's gotten by. Armando Edwards is falling down my board all of a sudden, John.
Yeah, he's lost the front nose on that car, the wing. You can actually see his toes wiggling in pit lane. Let's see what happened here, Sean.
Totally missed it on my screen. He's going to pick up a little bit of turf.
Yeah, it looks like he went wide there in Quebec, and ooh, yeah, just ripped the front nose off of it.
And we have seen that happen a bunch tonight.
You know,
Everybody going to come up a spot because of it. Acosta now to 5th, Swaby to 6th. Let's go to P9, no. Zegers, Rodriguez.
you know
Zegers
what?
trying
I
to
think
hang on.
Zegers has the good set of tires right now. He may have, as he goes wide, he may have been pacing himself to have some tires here at the end. He's making up some ground.
Well, for now, he's able to keep Rodriguez in the mirror. Just a half a second behind Thurman. Let's see what he can do. Really a good battle we're left with here, just inside the top 10.
Hey, real quick, a shout out to Rod Clenard, who's over in Italy racing the Rock Championship there with the big boys. So good luck to you, Rod, and we'll see you back here in a couple weeks.
You know he was doing that. How do you get all the cool info? I don't get any of the cool info. I'm telling Mom.
I still have my AOL email that I
Oh,
use.
okay.
That's why.
That's how you're getting all that secret info. You and Soup have something in common. Man, I don't know if Thurman's going to be able to keep Zegers off his back door here. They're going to come across the line. It's going to be 3 to go on this one, John.
Well, let's see. Holland turned a 10.6. Santana a 10.4. Lewis a 10.7. Delp a 10.8. Boy, these times are, man, they're within a tenth or two of each other. Amazing pace.
I like that he's getting a run here. Here comes Zegers, Johnny pulls up alongside. Oh boy, down the hill. Zegers has the advantage over Moss. Will he have it coming out? Thurman looks for the crossover. It's not there, but he's still right into the wing.
Zegers is making that track wide. Unfortunately, he's hurting himself by doing that.
That's Aaron Webb right in front of them, John. I don't know if they're going to catch him, but they're going to have 2 to go. Still a tight battle out of the S's. Zegers has got it. He'll come out of whites. Stay out of the dirt. Stay out of the grass. Both do. It'll be the white flag next time by here in Canada.
So did they have, like, you know, a bottle of maple syrup in Victory Lane here instead of
I believe
milk?
they do. It's some Tim Hortons donuts, probably. Yes, all the Tim Hortons donuts and maple syrup you can have to your heart's desire.
David Holland coming across the line to take the white flag, Sean.
Wow. Yeah. Wait, we've kind of forgot about him, didn't we?
Yeah, he's the guy in the lead.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the guy in the lead, and he's got a couple of cars in front of him. Don't think it's going to be much of an issue. You've got the Samurai there in front of him, John, trying to hold on to this lead lap. And Hugh Velaz just in front of Takeshi. That's just about a 7/10 of a second battle. Couple of teammates there.
David turned his fastest.
Sorry, John Espinoza picking up one off of Sumner up in Andretti. Raymond Day's right.
hey.
Day is in the rearview mirror of that battle. Wow.
It may be getting close to night here, but the day is shining here on this last lap.
Yeah, it is. And Holland going to come through the S's one last time, Johnny. Comes
Onto the outside.
And across the line, it'll be David Holland for the win. Here in Canada at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Santana going to come home with a quiet second place finish. Nathan Lewis going to hang on barely with Delp and Acosta in his mirror.
Lyndon Swaby coming around, Sean. Coming home sixth tonight. What a great run for him.
Day and Sumner are still fighting, John. Sumner just gets back by Day. They're coming up
and
the end.
Sumner gets off into the grass. Day's got that outside line. He's got the momentum. Will it stick? Yes, it does.
Wow, what a fight by Raymond Day this evening. He never gave up, John. It's going to wind up at P12. Sumner in his mirror for 13. Espinoza back there finished 14. Wow, what a great finish to the race.
Charles Sumner, great run for him tonight.
Yeah, it really was. Great race here in Canada. So happy we could bring it to you here on the Global SimRacing Channel, the iRacing Esports Network. We're going to go away for just a moment, and then we'll be back with the results and a few driver interviews to wrap this puppy up. We'll see you in just a few.
40 of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought-after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
Welcome back. The Precision Racing League Formula 3 Series, Thursday nights here on the iRacing Esports Network, 9 p.m. Eastern. Every Thursday night, round 3 is in the books here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And how did it finish? Well, it finished with David Holland going away 8 seconds over Kevin Santana. A great race by Santana tonight. Nathan Lewis will take third, a much better result than he got last week when he started from the pole. Nick Delp going to finish fourth. Great race for him. Abner Acosta with one of the big recovery drives of the night will finish fifth. Lyndon Swaby, new peg leg in, ready to go, and he finishes sixth. I like the new leg, John. Aaron Webb, seventh. Daniel Ziggers will finish eighth. Ninth, going to go Brett Thurman. Kenny Rodriguez, good solid run for him. Probably could have been a little bit better, but he'll take that 10th spot, Johnny.
Like Lieutenant Dan, magic legs. At 11th, Christopher Richards. Coming home 12th tonight, Raymond Day after struggling through Moss Corner twice. 13th, Charles Sumner, up 16 spots. Great run for that Floridian driver. Andres Espinoza in 14th. Takeshi Kita Samurai coming home in 15th. 16th, Hugo Galaz. And in 17th, Owen McLaughlin. 18th, Matthew Gunderson and Kyle Streichars coming home 19th. Sean finishing out the top 20 here. Jay Steffi.
All right, now I want to commend the next three drivers because they all came up big positive spots here in the field to finish where they did on the lead lap. Donald Olson finishes 21st. Lucio Vargas, 22nd. Daniel Barnett actually going to be a couple laps down there, but they all came up 10-plus spots, John, to finish where they did. Sean Duhamel will finish 24th for him tonight, 25th for Armando Edwards. David Blackwood, 26th for the Texan. Matthew Hall, 27th. Canada's own Ty Gore will finish 28th. David Hebert, 29th. 30th to Jonathan Brault. Michael Overbay, of course, involved in that incident at the beginning. Francisco Montini, they finished 31st and 32nd, respectively. Sebastian Macieta, 33rd, 34th for Andy Spicer. And Lionel Duprat, John, the little train, finishes 35th tonight. And now it's time to talk to the winner, David Holland. David, you know what? Congratulations. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of fighting going on. I'm going to ask you the obvious question. How big of a monkey wrench was it in the works with this change to the Generation 7 tire model?
Oh, it was definitely unexpected, to say the least. You know, we were kind of joking before about, oh, what if they changed, patched the tires or something? Just because, there were some strange characteristics. And, we were pretty sold on the idea that iRacing wouldn't do that mid-season. And, we just had to put up with them. But they did it. And it was definitely unexpected. But, the whole Vantage Esports team came together. We thrashed before the race to try and get a decent setup under us. And, looks like it turned out pretty good.
It looks like it did, David. Now talk about the fight you had up there, because nobody gave you anything in this one. You had to go get it.
No, it was some good battles. It's such a long race. I'm trying to remember back. The start was great. Raced with Overbay there for a bit. And, for as much competition as Overbay and I have had, we haven't really had many battles on the track. And so I was getting really excited to, actually have a nice proper battle with him. But fortunately, got caught up with a little incident. And so then it was just, on to Nathan Lewis, I believe. Looks like a new guy here for this season and looks to be fast. But yeah, he was quick the whole time. It was interesting coming out the pits. We were much closer coming out than I thought we were going to be.
Yeah.
So then it got really interesting.
It was just a couple laps before that John was talking about how that pit lane spills right out into the flow of traffic there going up the hill. That's about as close as we've seen. It seems like we've had all three tracks we've been on this season, same type of pit exit. Tonight, it was about as scary as it's gotten so far, especially for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think we had a lap car in there as well. So I think we were 3 wide there at one point. And luckily, everyone was being respectful, gave plenty of room, but still racing hard. I need to apologize to Nathan, though. I had a real close call there, dropping a tire, and I think it kind of caught him off guard a little bit. And hopefully that didn't ruin his race too bad. I mean, it looks like he came third, but I'm pretty sure I messed him up a bit there.
Well, David, a real gentleman you are. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick?
Yeah, definitely. First, I want to say congrats to Kevin and Lyndon here on the Vantage Esports team for great finishes tonight. Looks like Ray had a few issues, but we'll get it sorted out there for next time. And then gotta thank PRL, NinjaTrader, of course, and you guys at GSRC. Doing a great job.
And a great job by David Holland. That's him. This is John. You've caught up with our second place finisher, Kevin Santana.
Boy, Kevin, coming home second tonight. What a run. What a consistent run and an execution for you this evening. Tell us about it.
Just basically people dropping out ahead of me. That's about the only way I was going to do it. I just wasn't quite comfortable with the car after the tire change.
Yeah, talk to us about that. I mean, you obviously had the best lap of the race out of the entire field. What did that tire change do to you, Kevin, with about 15 minutes left to go?
I had no idea I even had the best lap. The car just wasn't what it felt like before. I felt like I had a lot more pace on the old tire, and then it's just the last minute change just didn't do much for me and kind of threw me off.
Well, speaking of tire, what did you feel the changes made by iRacing today? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are your thoughts?
I like it. It's definitely a lot more consistent. It's just, the last minute change, just kind of like I said, just kind of threw me, and I wasn't ready for it, and with lack of time to really practice like I'd have wanted.
Well, you certainly executed well, Kevin. Congratulations on your second place finisher. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank NinjaTrader for sponsoring the series, and then for Vantage Esports for bringing me on board for their.
All right, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your second place finisher, Kevin Santana. Sean, have you caught up with Mr. Lewis?
I have.
Hey, what's up?
Yes, New York's own there, Nathan Lewis. Man, a much better result for you this week than last week after starting on the pole. But I got to ask you about that incident with Montini. What happened there, man?
My view, he left inside, so I was like, all right, I feel I'm quicker than him. I was based off qualifying. He got the pole because of draft, Draft is so valuable. Something that me and Mike don't know how to work out together. Teammates, we need to figure that out. But I get the inside and I hold it. I was even braking not to hit him. And I guess netcode came involved, but I tried my hardest not to hit him, and I guess we made contact and it spun him around.
Yeah, it got him through the grass there, and then of course back into your teammate when he came back across the track. So bummer for him, but what a hell of a race, man! It was really especially the pit stop. Talk about that coming out of the pit stop, having him right there at your left.
Oh, the pit was interesting because especially I had to deal with that lap car. I was coming out with a lap car side by side, and so I didn't know what he was gonna do, and I saw David coming right there. I was talking to Mike, am I gonna get him? I don't know, and it's then I was right there, and if that lap car wasn't there, I think I could have got on his outside and got around.
Well, Nathan, congratulations on a podium finish. Anybody you'd like to thank for this one?
Obviously Geodesic, the team, and obviously Mike, the engineer. He's the one who does all the hard work for me for I can just drive. I don't have to go through and do all the setup, so it's nice having him around.
All right. Well, hey, we thank you, and we're going to catch a quick question with Lyndon Swaby and then wrap this up so we can get ready for the Lionheart Retro Series tonight. Round 14 coming at you live from Road America immediately following this broadcast. John, you've caught up with Lyndon.
Sean, I can't do this without you. Come on. It's Lyndon Swaby. It's Pegleg. Lyndon, welcome to the booth, sir.
Oh, come on. He's got to say something. I
Come
know
on,
you're
Lyndon.
Lyndon. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm live, sir? Okay, yeah, I'm live, I think. Sorry,
You're
I
live.
always mute and forget that I mute.
Put the chicken down, Lyndon. You can talk. Man, what a great run you had this evening. Talk us through that, man. How'd you execute that?
Uh, we were practicing a lot before the session was up, so I know my faults, I guess. So I was just trying to play it safe, I guess. I was just we had a good setup, so.
Oh man, that's good to hear. How do you feel about this season, Lyndon?
Mm, I'm not sure yet. Oh, we just had the tire change. I feel really good on the tires, and other guys don't. So we'll see what we come up with, but I feel pretty good. I think I ran 6, and I was running safe. I wasn't trying to push or anything like that. I was just trying to catch spots here and there, and I was surprised where I finished today. So I'll see where the next race is, and then I'll.
John, maybe next time we'll work with Lyndon on what he can do with his hands right about now. Lyndon, Lyndon, thanks a lot, man. It was good to see you have a great run. We got to bail out of this one, though. It's time to wrap her up. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick, buddy?
Yeah, I just want to thank my team. Thank you guys for broadcasting and just the Vantage Esport. That's it. And actually NinjaTrader for sponsoring the league.
All right, folks. That's Lyndon Swaby. Always happy to talk to him. Canadian by region here on the iRacing service, but from the Bahamas and from the Caribbean by heart. So, Lyndon, we'll see you next time. John, been a pleasure. Again, the Lionheart Retro Series coming up next here in about 15 minutes. We want to thank NinjaTrader. That's right, NinjaTrader, folks. Go look up their website, NinjaTrader.com. We also want to thank the iRacing Esports Network. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Subscribe now and subscribe to GSRC. We'd like one of your subs too. Just look up GSRC on YouTube and you will most certainly find us, or one of our great races that we've had here in the past couple of months or the past 6 years. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts listed on your screen now. And additional thanks always go to June Lalonde, who provides all of our wonderful music. See the screen, try to get a hold of more of her great work. We want to thank the team today, John, Joe behind the scenes, twisting and tweaking the dials, Dougie Beard. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it on our website, globalsimracingchannel.com, or check us out on social media. Join us there. Twitter, @GSR Channel. Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel. Just put it in the search bar. You'll find us. Facebook, I said that. Instagram, GSRC_Graham. Join us on the IG. The next race, Road America, Round 4, Thursday, October 10th. I'll be back with my little brother Johnny, 9 p.m. Eastern. Look at the upcoming races for other series listed on screen. Check those out, mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.